Hey folks, I got this question on LinkedIn. Should you write a new feature file for each user story? So you're doing your development, you get a new story, so you write a new feature file, and then you get another story, you write another feature file, a third story, a third feature file. So your user stories that you're supposed to deliver line up nicely with your feature files. Is this the way you're meant to work? Well, imagine that you had a book. Imagine that you had a requirements document or a book on a particular topic. And then you had chapter 1 that said something, chapter 2 that developed some other topic, then chapter 3 that goes and corrects chapter 1, then chapter 4 that goes and builds on something that was in chapter 3, but also refers to chapter 1. And then chapter 5, which totally overrules what happened in chapter 1 and completely contradicts it. So the author changed their mind. Would that be a good way to express your requirements? If you think the answer is no, then you're spot on. And that is why putting a feature file for each user story is not a good idea, because a feature file is documentation. A feature file is your specification document. It explains, it documents it, it specifies your requirement. It illustrates the business rules. It illustrates how an application is supposed to work and what problems it solves. So if a new user story comes along and adds to this collection of specifications, then it should go in the feature file that relates to the feature, the capability that you are building, not to the particular user story. A user story is a deliverable. A user story is a chunk of functionality, a slice of functionality that you deliver in a sprint. A feature is much more long-lived. A feature hangs around. A feature documents your application. So that is why you want a feature file that describes the overall feature, the overall capability that you're delivering. You can organize them any way you like, but generally speaking, the feature files are fairly large. They document a particular piece of functionality, and the user stories go on to build out that piece of functionality. So the acceptance criteria that you define in your user stories, they will go into a feature file, and you may have multiple user stories feeding into that feature file. So in summary, don't have a feature file for each user story. You will get yourself into trouble. Have a feature file for your capabilities, your pieces of functionality, not for each user story. That's all for this time. Thanks for listening, folks.